If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. I got 2 comments yesterday that were the exact opposite. And I always love it when I get those kind of comments because it's like, well, just read their comment. The first comment asked, how can I live on such a low budget? Don't I want some finer things in life? And I said, but you know, we're pretty happy out here. And they replied back, well, what about the finer foods? You know, you only eat 2 kinds of meat. The second question that was asked was, can I live this lifestyle with $1,500 to $1,800 a month? Getting ready to retire, 62. Now, she did have a substantial retirement fund, which is good. You got to have an emergency fund. And so let me explain that for a minute. I think you need tens of thousands of dollars in an emergency fund. And $80,000 would, I think, in my opinion, be very substantial, good emergency fund. I always say that you need to be able to replace everything you have at least once. Everything, all of it. Sometimes even twice. And in this case, if you had a $40,000 van and you had an $80,000 retirement fund, you'd at least be able to replace it real easily. And so you don't have any worries. And this does not include insurance and all these things. It includes, can I replace what I have? So yes, you got to have an emergency fund, and it's got to be a substantial one. And I've seen so many people say, oh, you got to have a $5,000 emergency fund or a $3,000 emergency fund. In my opinion, this isn't if the water heater breaks in your house, you got to figure out how to come up with a few $100s to replace it. If something breaks out here, you got to replace the whole thing, and those things aren't cheap. Cars depreciate in value. So, you know, your house is going to appreciate, cars depreciate. You're going to have to replace it. So you got to keep that in mind. How long do you intend to do this? But let's get back to the questions. They were exact opposite questions. Like, you know, don't I miss the finer things in life? And can I live on minimal amount of money? We budget $850. And I think this is where a lot of people struggle with the idea. When we run out of $850 each month, we don't spend anymore. Even though we have a good emergency fund, we have a savings account, so we can, because I also believe that you got to be able to put some money back, not to rely on an emergency fund in case something tragic happens, but I know the truck is going to wear out. So I got to be able to put money back each month to replace the truck. And so what I try to do is I try to replace the amount of what I think a car payment would be. So let's say I think a car payment is $350 a month. I spend $850 for my lively expenses, then $350 in the savings, and then I also add money into my emergency account every month. But the budget itself, how much can I live on each month, is $850. I don't ever violate that. I violated it by $50 or something here or there because, I went out and I accidentally spent $50 more at Walmart than I expected, those kind of things. But I never, okay, we're getting close to the end of the budget. We need to, and we still need to go buy a bunch of stuff. I don't do that. As a matter of fact, I budget $160 a month in gasoline. Regularly, we have been forced to leave an area, and I've had to violate the $160. That means the next month, I got to really figure out how not to go over that amount. So let's say, I budget $160, but I went $40 over because I was forced to leave a campground and had to travel on. Well, that means I've just spent $200. Well, the next month, I can only spend $120 because I got to make that up. You have to be able to buy food that's very inexpensive. And we only spend about $200 a month in food. And then we have miscellaneous costs and different things. So we just force ourselves not to go out and spend money. But food budget, we're never forced to go over. We know how much money we have for food, and we don't go over that amount of money. But this takes a lot of discipline. This means that we don't go traveling all over the place and doing tourist activities or going out to eat all the time. The most that we ever go out to eat anymore is Subway. And we use Subway on days that we travel. But even the other day, Carolyn said, we ought to get away from Subway. Now, we've never went over on our food budget, ever. Giving up the Subway, it's just another part of being disciplined so we can enjoy our dream. So this is the part that's very important. What is your dream? If your dream is to eat fancy foods and eat at the restaurants all the time, then no, you cannot live on $1,500, $1,800 a month. But if your dream is to see beautiful things like this, then this is what we're going to spend our money on, is being able to see these things. I said one time in a video, and I got a lot of criticism for it, that I spent $10 at an ice cream shop to get to one of those concrete ice creams that you can, they turn upside down. And I felt guilty about it. After we spent the money, I felt guilty that we spent that much money on ice cream. Got a lot of criticism. You need to be able to enjoy life more and spend money and be happy. This is where I get confused. Where am I not happy? Look at this. This is fantastic. I'm just overjoyed with my life. I don't need to go spend $10 on an ice cream to make myself happy when I can sit here in this park, listening to this thunderous roar of a dam behind me, enjoying the breeze. Right now it's real breezy, making videos, doing some part-time work, traveling the country, excited about seeing things, scared about going and seeing things. All these emotions. I don't need the $10 ice cream. I can go to the store and pick up a gallon for $5. So, in my past, I got to spend all kinds of money. I got to go to fancy restaurants all the time. And I got to go and enjoy the fancy foods. And really, what did it get me? I had to work hard all the time to do it. My stress level was through the roof. My last job, I was working so much. I had a $300 rent payment, but I was working 16 hours a day, 12, 16 hours a day. I never got to go home and enjoy the house, never got to go out to eat. Carolyn and I tried to force ourselves to go out to eat twice a year to Red Lobster because for our birthdays, we both enjoyed Red Lobster. Well, that last year, I didn't even get to go because I was working so hard. So I was saving all this money so I can enjoy the rich life. And I never got to enjoy the rich life because I was working so hard. Here, I don't have to work near as hard, and I get to enjoy the rich life. This may not seem ritzy to you, but I'm clean shaven. I get a shower. My belly is full. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.